Hi you guys, it's Amanda with Healthy House on the Block, and I'm here with our weekly video and tip on creating an indoor space that truly supports your health and your wellness. Sometimes we talk about things that are small changes you can make to your house, but every now and then I like to cover an area of your house that is maybe a bigger project, because those are the places that we can make big changes all at once. And today we're going to specifically be talking about tile for your home. So a lot of us like tile in our homes somewhere. A lot of times it's a bathroom or a kitchen, it could be a backsplash, even a laundry room, and different parts of the country have more tile than others. And so it can be a very good thing to bring into your house to reduce toxins if done the right way. So we're going to talk about what you need to look for when you're shopping for tile. We're going to talk about the entire installation process, because all of the components that go with tile can either be very toxic or very low toxin. We're also going to talk about how to demo your tile that you currently have in your home in a very safe way, because chances are there is at least some sort of lead toxin or heavy metal toxin in that tile that's currently in your home. So we have to be very careful when we're taking it out of the home. And then we're going to talk about what to do if you are not able to replace tile in your home right now. How do you make your home a healthier space and keep yourself safe from some of those toxins that are in most tile surfaces?
So one of the biggest projects you can make non-toxic in your home is through your flooring. Often our flooring covers a vast surface area that we're in contact with quite often. So this alone means that it's a really great place to make sure that you're not bringing in new toxins to your home. Another thing to keep in mind is that toxins such as VOCs and formaldehyde love to off-gas in large amounts when spaces are both high in humidity and high in temperatures. So if you think of a space that embodies both of these, it's usually the bathroom. And the bathroom is also where most homes have lots of tile. So if you're contemplating a change for your home, I always say it's most important to be aware of what toxins you can not only remove from your space, but what toxins you can avoid bringing in. After all, in order to create a healthier home, you have to be very aware of toxins and toxic materials. And the process is twofold. So first, we have to remove current toxins and then bring in something that is very low toxin in nature. By following this practice with not only your flooring, but every area of your home, you'll actually have a home that is as free from toxins as possible. In fact, you'll create a space that supports your health and your wellness. So let's look at the toxins that could be in the tiles you currently have. Generally speaking, tile is actually a lower toxin flooring option in and of itself. But there are some toxins that we need to be aware of as we shop for either flooring or a backsplash. So one thing to remember is that lead can be in both the glaze on the tile as well as the interior of the tile. So obviously the most important thing you need to be aware of is if the glaze has lead, the outer layer. Lead cannot be absorbed through the skin and cannot be inhaled unless it is in dust form. So the only way that you could come in contact with this toxin is through ingestion, which means it would come from unwashed hands most likely. Antimicrobial coatings are another thing to watch out for. While this might sound like a great way to keep bacteria and mildew from your tile, it's actually been shown to have a negative impact on our health as a whole. Tile is generally pretty non-porous on the surface, and so the risk of bacteria or mold growing is very slim. Simple cleaning is preferred to any sort of added coating that is made from a man-made chemical. And then there are other heavy metals. So other heavy metals like cadmium, barium, mercury, and even nickel, which is more of an allergen are all found in tiles that have been tested around the US. So while these heavy metals are definitely not as concerning as lead, they still pose health risks, especially to children. Heavy metals take a really long time for the body to detoxify on its own. And so with even low-grade exposure, it can build up to unsafe levels in the body relatively quickly. So over time, many toxic heavy metals will build up in our body. This is because our bodies typically do not detox heavy metals very quickly. And so even if you're being exposed to low levels over time, there can be high levels of heavy metal toxins in your body as your body just cannot get rid of them fast enough. So a few things that heavy metals do. First, they disrupt the metabolic function in the body. They accumulate and they build up within the body, which disrupts the function of vital organs and glands such as the heart, kidney, brains, bone, or liver. The second way they disrupt is that they replace the vital nutritional minerals that we have in our bodies that we need. This in turn hinders their biological function. So heavy metals can disrupt cellular function, including growth and the repair process, which can severely damage the cells in various parts of the body. But heavy metals are also seen as a huge neurotoxin, and so they have a negative impact on the development of children and on the brain. And this can be one of the most alarming things that we know about lead and other heavy metals. Another thing to keep in mind is if your tile has any sort of antibacterial agent in it, this is another toxin that you really should be aware of in terms of the negative health effects that can happen. Added antibacterial treatments can not only reduce our own natural defenses to bacteria, but it can also disrupt the endocrine system, causing reproductive problems as well as developmental problems. So let's look at what the important things are when we're going to start a tile project. We want to make sure we're doing it the right way, and we're going to start off with how to purchase the right tile. So the most important things to watch for when you're shopping for tile are that they're made in the USA. Other countries may not have the same lead regulations as we currently have in the US. You also want to look for full ingredient lists. Everything from glazes to pigments should have ingredients available to you. You want to opt for abrasion ratings of 4 or higher. And what this will do is minimize the potential release of toxins from either the glaze or the coating. And then finally, avoid those antimicrobial coatings. These are harmful biocides that really are not beneficial to our health. And now we get to talk about some of my favorite brands of tile. The first is Fireclay. It is definitely one of my favorite options. They're not only manufactured in the US, which can be hard to find nowadays, but they're also a certified B Corporation. They use very carefully sourced recycled materials for the clay tiles, and they have excellent transparency in their materials and manufacturing. Their glaze has been third-party tested to be lead-free, which is also a huge bonus. Crossville Tile is a Green Square certified company, and all of their tiles are made in the USA as well. They offer full transparency of their product manufacturing, and they use all lead-free glazes. Doll Tile is another made in the USA tile company and has lead-free tiles that are also PVC and VOC free. They do have some tiles that contain microban, which I would avoid. However, the rest of their products I absolutely love, and the great thing is they offer transparency in their products and manufacturing. So it's very easy to tell which products contain the antimicrobial coating and which do not. And then finally, Style Surfaces are a Green Guard indoor air quality certified and NSF certified company. They use environmentally friendly and sustainable practices in both their materials and their manufacturing. So if you're looking for a different media such as slate, limestone, or quartzite tiles, this is the company you want to check out. So one of the most important things to keep in mind while doing home project is that you can make it a healthier process, starting with the demolition. Anytime you plan to demo any area of your home, please remember these steps. If any sort of toxin is imminently present, be sure to have the demolition professionally done. This especially goes for lead and asbestos. You want to wear protective clothing to reduce contact with any dust. This would be long sleeves, long pants, protective shoes, gloves, and a hat. You also want to cover your eyes and your respiratory airways to prevent inhalation of the dust. Protective glasses, respiratory mask, and earplugs aren't a bad idea either. You also want to try to contain the dust and debris to the area that you're working in with either plastic sheeting or doors. Block off the area in some way. You will also want to cover any vents and turn off your HVAC during the demolition. You can then open windows to improve the airflow, and finally, deep clean your space before any installation begins. And then there are 5 ways that you can really make sure your tile project is low toxin. So first, use a dustless install method. We've talked about this before, but basically, anytime you're installing something in your home, it's important to practice this safe method. Make sure you have all materials cut outside to reduce the inhalation of dust. You can also block off the space you'll be working in to reduce the spread of dust around your home. And then finally, turn off your HVAC during installation if possible, and block any vents in the space to prevent dust from traveling through your vents and into other areas of your home. You can find Green Guard Gold certified cement backer board that can be the base for your project if tile is going on your wall. You can focus on moisture and mold resistant cement board if you're applying it in a wet area like a kitchen or a bathroom, and for that I recommend PermaBase. You'll also want to opt for a water-based adhesive. You'll need a good adhesive for any tile work being done, but the truth is that most adhesives you will find have formaldehyde and high levels of VOCs. So look for a quick setting and cure formula that will limit off-gassing to an absolute minimum while it dries. You'll want to find a product that is solvent-free and extremely low VOC. My adhesive of choice is ChemLink, which is also liked by many contractors. You'll also want to find a cement-based grout. So the grout that is being used can be a toxin-free choice that you make to avoid any VOCs from entering your space during the curing and during installation. You'll want to look for something that is concrete-based, as that is generally non-toxic in nature. You can also look for products that are either a thin set or a quick cure formula to ensure any VOC exposure is minimal. For this, I recommend Laticrete thin set mortar. I have these all linked in the blog post if you need links to these products. And then finally, while usually tile isn't a very porous surface, grout certainly is, and so that means that it can absorb moisture and become a spot for mold or mildew to begin in your home. It can also become stained or begin to wear away due to it being unsealed. So you can seal your grout with a safe, non-toxic product like Safe Coat Grout Sealer to protect your hard work and make that surface truly washable. So projects are always a longer process than you think, honestly, from the beginning planning stages through to the finish. If you're not in a position now to take on the project of replacing tile in your home, there are still ways that you can minimize the risk of toxins from the current tile in your home. First, fill in any scratches or cracks. These scratches and cracks in tile often are where the toxins that can be potentially harmful will escape from. So if you see any cracks or the start of them, be sure to fill them in or put a sealant over it to ensure that any of the toxins that could be in the interior are contained in the tile. You also want to practice good hand washing. The main concern with tile is heavy metals such as lead. So one of the best ways to protect yourself against heavy metal exposure is to wash your hands anytime you're going to be eating or touching food. Heavy metals cannot be absorbed into your skin, and often they are ingested as a route of exposure. By keeping your hands clean when you go to eat or touch food, you can minimize potential risk of lead exposure. You'll also want to remove any potential mold growth that you happen to see. If you begin to see any sort of mildew or even mold on the grout or tile itself, make sure it is removed completely and that the area is dried out. You can use a simple mixture of baking soda and vinegar to scrub the area. And once it's dried out, it might be a good idea to use that grout sealer to prevent this problem from happening again. And then finally, ventilate your spaces. If your tile is in the bathroom or a laundry room, it's a great idea to get these spaces ample airflow and proper ventilation. So use the vented fan during use of the room and for at least 20 minutes after use. If you can leave doors open immediately following use, that's also a good practice. And finally, wipe down any surfaces that have visible moisture or condensation to prevent mold and mildew issues. So whether you're planning ahead for your tile project or you're in the middle of the project itself, by following parts of this advice, you can reduce toxins in your home and your space. It often doesn't cost more money to make these changes to your project. It just takes a little bit of knowledge about what to look for.
As always, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you being here and learning and creating a healthy home of your own. I think if we all start paying attention to these toxins, we can slowly create a world and a society that really truly embraces this low toxin lifestyle. I hope you will subscribe to my channel because I will be here again next week and every week with a healthy house tip on creating a space that truly supports your health.